Am I live? Y'all ain't used to seeing me this early this time of day. I know, because I ain't even used to being out here this early. I be having stuff to do during the daytime. Y'all give me 1 second. Get my stuff together. Oops. All right. I think I'm out here. If not, still gonna do it. Rewind. And do my intro. Welcome back to Pills, Potions, and Poisons with me and NAllenRx. I'm a pharmacist. But I'm not here in a professional capacity. As you can see, normally this time of day I'm at work. I know y'all thought I was gonna be getting iron today, but me too. But I ain't. So excuse me if I'm still a little bit sluggish or fatigued. Okay, so what are we talking about? I think court is on a break, but let's get into it, y'all. Let's get into it. Who are we talking about today? We are talking about one of my colleagues, a healthcare professional, Miss Natalie Cochran. What's her deal? She is a pharmacist, or, well, I mean, she probably still got a license for all we know, license just suspended temporarily. So what's Natalie's deal? Well, I'm gonna tell y'all something a little, okay, before we get into that, what's the setting? What's the setting? Today, we are gonna be streaming from West Virginia. Take me home. I gotta see what West Virginia is known as. Country road, mountain mama. It is known as the what? Let's see. West Virginia is known as the Mountain State. Yes. Mountain mama, take me home. Country road. Okay, it's the Mountain State. So she was a pharmacist in West Virginia. And she had a husband, some kids, Probably some of you would say she's living a simple life, but it wasn't so simple now, was it? I think around maybe 2018, something like that. Well, her and her husband, Michael Cochran, they started a business of some sort. Come to find out, it's actually a Ponzi scheme, where they're, I don't know, having contracts with the government of selling weapons, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Turns out their stuff didn't even exist. They got a lot of people to invest a lot of money, including Michael's parents, Natalie's parents, her sister and her husband, some of their friends who were physician's assistants, some other people in healthcare, some people in, police. Well, that guy, he said that was his wife. He ain't really had nothing to do with it. Natalie and the wife were friends. They invested tens of thousands, some of them hundreds of thousands of dollars into this, into their business, Okay. Evidently, the feds got onto them. Somebody got onto them doing an investigation. What happens? They find out what's going on. Miraculously, somehow, mysteriously, Michael, he turns up dead. Now Liz eventually convicted. I think that's what we say. And she's sentenced for the Ponzi scheme situation. But there's an investigation that's going on right now. They think that Natalie was somehow responsible for the murder of Michael. Why would she do that? Why would she murder Michael? They're alleging that Michael had nothing, he knew nothing about this Ponzi scheme that Natalie had going on, right? He knew nothing about it. So when he found out about it, because his parents, they hadn't been getting paid out anything from this businesses that they had been investing in. Nobody was getting any money out, but they were spending millions of dollars buying properties, taking the whole family to Paris, going on lavish vacations. Michael's getting all kind of toys. He got a Yamaha motorcycle. He got, some kind of other, I don't know, Harley. He got 20 motorcycles, dirt bikes, four-wheelers, I don't know. Probably got, some kind of trucks. For some reason, West Virginia, it seems country, but it's not. It's not like the South. You know what I'm saying? When I say that, y'all know what I mean? And let me know if y'all agree. So, but Michael knew nothing about it. Michael doesn't have an official career. We don't know what Michael does for work. We don't know how Michael earns his money other than working for this company that him and his wife got together. But they're still alleging Michael knew nothing about it. So when his parents come to him, Michael, well, you guys are spending so much money. Why haven't we gotten anything paid out yet? He's just, oh my God, he's blindsided. He didn't know what Natalie was doing. Yeah, right. He knew exactly what Natalie was doing. I think that's my opinion. But Natalie, what's her deal? She's a pharmacist. Okay, pharmacists, they make six figures. They make six figures everywhere, some higher than others, depending on, where you live at. And you just make six figures. If you work in retail, you're going to make a lot of money. You work in, everybody makes six figures, okay? We ain't making millions of dollars. Not us. Not us that's, over time, with hard work and dedication, we can, we make we can make a million. But we ain't just going into, your local retail pharmacy, working 40, 44, 48, however many hours a week. We ain't getting our million like that. A lot of times pharmacists got a little job on, always got some kind of little gig. Because it's like, after a while, the drugs and all that stuff, it gets a little bit monotonous. And if you're somebody like me, I don't mind. I can do the same thing every day. I can eat the same thing every day. And I ain't got to have a whole lot of variety. When I find something I like, I'm stick with it. So I can do it. I can do what I'm doing every day. But I'm at this. I don't know if they got a 10-year itch on work situation, but I'm like, oh, I don't know. I don't like change, but sometimes, you got to do it. Okay, so we're going to watch a little bit of this trial. Anyway, Natalie, her side gig was this company that she got with her husband. For Michael to not know where the money, y'all let me know if y'all think Michael knew where the money was coming from. He knew what his wife was making as a pharmacist. She is a ambulatory care. She's specialist. Pharmacist. Y'all don't know this. Every time y'all come on here, I'll let y'all know a little bit more about the pharmacist. I don't know about the pharmacist. We don't care about it's like, who know what they do? People like, they probably making minimum wage. They ain't doing them but sticking labels on the bottle. Whatever. We don't try to fix it. We don't try to correct it. Whatever y'all think we doing, that's what we doing. You know what I'm saying? So okay. Whatever you say. Al, he knew Natalie wasn't making enough money to be buying all these homes, paying for these trips, etc. In my opinion, do y'all think he knew? Because they're saying him not knowing is the motive. That's why used her special skill set, because pharmacists, we can do residency programs too. We do residency. They have matching pharmacy. And which in the past few years, they started a residency program for like retail pharmacy. I'm like, for what? I ain't no hater, but like, what you gonna, what you trying to do for that? Be a district manager, whatever. So, you can do that anyway. Anyway, so you can do a residency program. You can get to, become a specialty pharmacist in a particular area. So she's a diabetes specialist. So, hey, shout out to her. Let me do that. So she did a little more after she finished school. She went a little bit longer. She got this, that's what she does. So they're alleging that this insulin they found in her refrigerator 4 months after her husband was buried, that's what she used to give him some and that's what killed him because he was gonna she wasn't paying out with that it was a Ponzi scheme, and his parents lost their retirement, all their savings, all these people, their friends, their loved ones. Natalie, ruined everybody, stole all their money, even though he was enjoying the fruits of their labor. I think it was both of them, but we're gonna see. We're not gonna judge them yet. So we're gonna watch this trial. This is day 2. We're gonna start here. I'm gonna see how I go today because I like to talk a lot, in between. And some of y'all, I mean, if you want to watch, you can just watch yourself on Law and Crime Court TV. But I'm gonna watch that. Natalie in court, her demeanor. Yes, we're gonna talk about a lot of stuff that may or may not have anything to do with the trial. That's kind of about some of our personal opinions. We can talk about the drugs. Of course, we're gonna get into the drugs. They talk about a lot of drugs on here. And this attorney for Natalie, he's an interesting character. Very, very interesting. So they had opening statements yesterday. I don't know if y'all want to go back and listen to that. Maybe we should listen to the opening statements. It was kind of interesting. They got some witnesses of the guy. These are the people that showed up the day he died at the house, evidently on the couch. Well, he died in the hospital. I don't want to hear it. Y'all can say it. You can say whatever you want to say, but this is not victim blaming. Some of this, is like, okay, we should just, these are things to consider. If you're saying this lady killed this man due to with insulin, then we need to consider, his health condition, his practices, how he took care of himself, because it could have been something else. If he's taking drugs from Mexico, drugs from offline, all this stuff that is not FDA approved. And it sounds corny and like, oh, you squared up to say this stuff is not FDA approved. And when y'all buy, stuff out of the gas station, when y'all buy, these drugs, I told y'all about my person that I know that bought some drugs in Mexico and had a situation and called me and like, hey, what can I do? I'm like, he's like, they got the same name. I'm like, you don't know what that is. You don't know what it is, but y'all can tell me I'm squared up, but y'all ain't gonna hear nothing about me, passing away off some drugs I bought, in Mexico. There's not FDA approved. So I'm gonna go to let me see. I wanna watch a little bit of day 1. And I want to let's listen to the open statements. Where's it at, y'all? Let's see. Y'all hold on for a second. We got all day, I guess. Shoot. I have ADHD. I'ma see how I do with this. Y'all let me know if this is something y'all interested in doing. I ain't gonna be every day because I still work my day job. And I just ain't gonna be on here every day like that all day during the daytime. I got stuff, I got business I be having. I still work. And my little roommate, be having stuff going on too. But y'all hold on just a second. And eyes. Hey, y'all, I guess y'all can hear me. I ain't oh. Oh, that would suck so bad if I've been talking for however long for nothing. And I, hey girl, hey, she said, hey y'all, hey y'all. Harmonize. I always like to ask for a good in the chat. Oh man, this how y'all know I ain't used to streaming in the daytime. Okay. She says also, Natalie is off the chain. I can't wait for y'all to see Natalie. Natalie is like, I'm already. She reminds me of Letitia Stout. She also reminds me of the one that the suitcase murder lady. What's her name? I can't even think of her name. What is her name that just did the suitcase thing? She's a trip. These women, man, these women criminals like that, they be cold-blooded. They are cold-blooded, and they do not care. They don't even pretend to care. They don't even, she said, women lie. He may not have known. He may not have known harmonized, but how he think they was funding all these trips and buying all these houses? Where did he think that? Oh, maybe he thought the business was legitimate. Melanie McGuire, not her. What is? Hold on. I tried to have it set up. I was late too. Of course, y'all know I was late. But my light fell, and then I was like, "Oh my God, is it broken?" What this is one of these lights I got up in here. I was like, "Is it broken? Is it messed up?" I had to kind of screw the bulb back in. So okay, I was like, "Why is it?" I'm like, I'm pressing the remote, I'm hitting the switch. I'm like, what is the problem? Okay. So I had to deal with it for, about 15, 20 minutes. Then I just needed to screw the bulb back in. Okay, so let me see. I gotta share this. Dang, where is it? Okay, this was yesterday. Can we do Court TV get mad if you? Okay, so let's share it. Sarah Boom. Sarah Boom. That's the name. Sarah Boom. She kind of got to act like her a little bit. Okay, so let's do this. Captions on. And I'll do this. This is it. Screen. All right. Here we go. Now, this is yesterday. Opening statements. Thank you, Court TV, for putting it right where I need to be. All right, y'all let me know if I got the sound. He said, have I covered Melanie? She had a lot. Ooh, okay, Amina, she next. Fertility clinic. Man, it ain't safe out here. It is not safe. She up next. Okay. So let me know if I got sound, guys. This is yesterday.
Mr. Richter?
Oh, yeah. Look at her attorney. He is so cool.
Counsel for the state.
And annoying at the same time.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, by the prosecution's account, and perhaps by some others, Natalie Cochran is not a nice person.
What?
She defrauded friends, relatives, investors. She was involved in a PONZI scheme. She cheated, she scammed. And she has paid for it. But ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the fact that she is perhaps a fraud and perhaps a cheat, and that you wouldn't perhaps want to invite her home for Sunday dinner, that you wouldn't like her, does not translate into being a murderer. This trial is not a forum on public acceptance. You don't have to like her. You don't have to say she is a great person. But you have taken the oath to judge her fairly and to give her a fair shake, a fair trial. When you, it's not just some wave of a hand.
Do we want to watch
this? It is a solemn oath to search for the truth and to determine to prove herself innocent. The state has the burden of
Okay,
proof
that's not what
beyond a
I
reasonable
think. I mean,
doubt
would y'all prefer to just go on?
to
Let's see
demonstrate
the witnesses for the day.
that Natalie Cochran
Let's just go on do that.
killed
Because I mean,
her
I
husband
tell y'all,
with
ADHD.
premeditation.
It's so real, y'all. It's so real. Hold on. Let's just go ahead and watch the question. The witnesses from today. Let's do that. How long they been on a break? Are they on lunch? What time is it there? Okay. Let's start here. Um, okay. This would be better. I'll do full screen. I know we like to do full screen.
Mountain State University,
And it's now,
West Virginia Tech.
okay, all same place,
Yes.
different name. Now tell us a little bit about your role as a physician's assistant. What's a physician's assistant do?
So a physician's assistant is a layman term, was a mid-level practitioner. Now we're called advanced practitioners, and
She's for the advanced
we
practice
do
nurse.
everything a physician does except for I mean, we prescribe medicines, we see patients, we assist in surgery, do small procedures, basically anything that the physician does. We're trained on the physician module.
What was your first job as a physician's assistant?
I worked in pediatrics
Where?
at Begley Pediatrics. I worked for 5 years there.
Where did you go then?
MedExpress.
And now you're currently employed where?
Reno Medical Center.
Are those the three professional positions you have held as a physician's assistant?
Let me know if
Mainly
you hear.
the ER and MedExpress for many years. At Princeton ER, MedExpress at the same time. I did a dual job. I worked in ENT for 4 years, and then he closed his practice to go to Virginia, and I could not go with him, so I went to Reno Medical Center.
Couldn't go with who?
You're familiar with the Cochran family?
Yes.
Did you meet them through a professional, your physician's assistant position, or some other way?
No, through youth league football. Our son played.
Did you know Michael Cochran?
Yes.
And you know,
There she is, y'all.
Yes.
could you be a little more detail? How did you get to know them? You said through football, but what kind of relationship did you have with Mr. and Mrs. Cochran?
So
She didn't look like
I
that when
met
she
them
went.
football. Was one of Hunter's coaches for a while. Hunter is our son.
Hinton.
And Michael was always very nice, cordial speaking. Natalie was a little standoffish. There was a lot of things going on in the youth football, a lot of problems and conflict.
There's comment on the defendant's character, and they
They probably they probably didn't get along because she a physician assistant and Melanie the pharmacist. I mean, Natalie is a pharmacist. Sometimes those relationships be weird because they be weird. Where's my sound? What did I do? I should leave this alone. What happened? Can y'all hear? Oops. Can y'all? Let me see, did I do something? I do it during the daytime. I got a while to be on here, so I don't know what happened. Why did this sound? I need some help. Let me stop sharing. How about I do that? Oh, did I go back? Oh, I went back. This stream is so weird. That's the part where they didn't have any sound. Ah! When you're pissed off. Okay. Oh, this is so annoying.
Was one of Hunter's coaches. Hunter is
Ask you to just briefly thumb through it for the purpose of saying what it is. I call your attention to information that came to you from the defendant concerning her health. A little bit confusing because at the top of this document, it's got a January 1, but that's when the screenshot was taken. Describe.
she had the blood pressure cuff on his arm. There was numbers on it as if it had just been taken. She had the pulse ox on his finger, which monitors like oxygen rate and pulse rate. And that all looked normal. Nothing alarmed me when I saw the numbers. The only thing I had with me was the thermometer that they had asked me to bring, which was a ear scan. I walked over to him and
Walked over to Michael.
He was laying on the couch and went to take his temperature and told him, Michael, this is Stephanie, because I knew how Michael was. If he had just woke up and saw me standing there, he might punch me. So I said,
and it's funny that she said if he woke up and saw her just standing there, he might have punched her. He, according to Natalie's attorney, Michael wanted to be a bodybuilder, which kind of reminded me of a time when I knew somebody and this person, they used to they were like serious about lifting weights. Well, I ain't know them personally. I knew him through somebody, but I knew him, anyway. He's played in the NFL. And they was taking the steroids, like the antibiotic steroids. And those people, when they on steroids, the mood swings, their hormones be off, okay? And they can be angry, like they gonna throw their head into a wall. They can easily punch a hole in the wall. So when she says Michael may have been angry, which she didn't say, oh, he would have been startled, he would have been scared, he would have been like, he wouldn't have been expecting me to just be standing over him like that. She was like, he would have punched me. That just kind of gets my wheels to turning. Y'all just keep listening. Let's keep going.
and I took his temperature, it was fine. And then he was laying on the couch. They had a recliner that kind of sat behind the couch. And I sat down in the recliner. So his head was behind. I was dead. He was in there. And talked to Natalie and John for a few minutes to see what had happened and what was going on.
Y'all listening? This sounds crazy to me. So this man, okay, Natalie is at the house getting ready for whatever. Now her husband, something happens, he's passed out. He didn't hit his head, he's not unconscious or anything like that. I don't think. She called this lady right here, her husband, who's a state trooper, called him over to the house to help pick him up off the floor and put him on the couch. He went there to do it. And along with 2 other workers who were at the house, they put Michael on the couch. The fact that nobody felt at the time, like immediately, like this was an emergency makes me feel like this wasn't the first time that Michael had been falling out like that. I don't know. To just be like, hey, can y'all come help me put him on the couch? How does this sound? This sounds interesting. So then that guy, either he or I think he called his wife, who is this lady right here, physician assistant, call her over there to bring a thermometer to check his temperature. Okay. And she just said out of her own mouth that they have she sat in a recliner. Not saying she was sitting back with her feet kicked up or anything like that, but she sat down and she sat down in a recliner, and her husband and Natalie, which she was sitting above his head, like he's on the couch laying down. There's a recliner in front of the couch above his head. She's sitting in the recliner. I feel like she could be rocking in it. Like, I got other stuff I could be. Talk to Natalie and her husband about what had happened with Michael. Meanwhile, Michael's just stretched out on the couch. Let's picture it, guys. Let's follow her. Let's listen.
What were you told that happened?
I was told that, I knew.
Unless it's a statement of the defendant, I object to hear.
Fair enough. Did the defendant tell you what happened? Did Natalie Cochran tell you what happened?
Yes.
What did she say?
She told me that they had been sick that morning, which she had said through text. She said he was throwing up and he had a seizure or something in the kitchen and fell on the floor.
Did anyone tell you that, did the defendant tell you he hit his head at all?
No. I asked her 3 times if he hit his head, and she said no.
Okay. When you were able to physically see Michael Cochran, could you see any evidence that he hit his head?
No.
Did you look for that?
I was sitting behind him. He was laying on the couch, and as we were talking and her explaining how it went, I was, looking at his. I didn't see any like scratches or bumps or any bleeding or anything from his head at all.
Did you talk back and forth with Michael Cochran that morning?
Not that, just at the house when I said I was going to take his temperature. That's all I said to him.
Did he say anything in response?
No, he turned his head to me.
Did you ever hear Michael Cochran say anything during the time you were there?
No.
Was he awake?
Is it back
or
live?
Sleep.
Okay. I'll
Um,
see what they're doing. They back. Oh, we back. Okay. Waiting on the jury to come back in. So, y'all, so far, that's what we got going on. Everybody just sitting around, Michael stretched out on the couch. And this lady just let Michael they're saying it's murder. How is this murder? And there's 50 people up in there. We can't decide yet. We got to hear more of what's going on. So, I don't know. That's where I'm at. What are we waiting on? The jury walking back in. It's weird that too, in the beginning, the judge was using like the jury. We know on the jury. The judge is saying their whole name. Is that crazy? It's quiet. Yeah, her attorney don't care. I mean, he cares, but to me, he should have done a little bit more studying, like a little bit more research on like the drugs, because at some point during this trial, well, in the beginning of like the first witness, I watched a little bit of this earlier this morning when it was first on, and he's just so stuck on Humalog, and if it's OTC, it's not. It's only certain ones. It's like Humulin. Which I said yesterday.
Get a picture, there'd be a placard on that would say, "Sorry, we are having technical difficulties." Some of you may remember that. And my heart as a child would always sink whenever I saw that sign. This is what's happened to us. I even thought about getting a sign and holding it up for you folks. I am a curse when it comes to technology, and things just don't seem to work right around me. I'm so old-fashioned that I still write my checks out by hand and put them in an envelope and get a stamp and send in the bill. But we've straightened it out. Now, you can see that we're close to the lunch hour. The witness is here with just a kind of a short window of time, and we want to accommodate him. So we're going to work through the traditional lunch break, but never fear, we will take a break for lunch. It's just than usual. If your stomach took foul, we'll overlook that. We won't pay any attention to that. And I apologize that we're not taking our lunch break on time, but I know you folks have been patient and you've had to wait, and we need to make some progress in this case. Please with us. We are still, of course, on the state's case in chief. You may call your next witness, please, Mr. Truman.
Your Honor, the gentleman that appears on the screen is Mr. Court Nexon.
Tell whether you are seated or standing. Are you standing?
I'm standing, Judge, and I have a stand-up desk. I don't even have a chair, so
I have a stand-up desk too. I used to stand up.
Right hand, sir.
I guess, it'll be a longer stream tonight. I can let this desk on up and I can stand up, but I ain't gonna stand up.
Help you God.
yes, sir.
All right. I would normally say you may be seated, but you're standing at your desk, and so you can remain so. Before we started, let me explain to the jury, gentlemen, you are watching this next witness on video.
look at Natalie. Natalie, like, oh, I'm used to standing 8 hours a day.
If he were right here,
I would rather be standing
amongst us. So assess his testimony and the credibility thereof, just like you would any other witness that is called to appear to the witness stand.
Natalie playing games.
With that, Mr. Truman, you may proceed.
Natalie did
Thank
not
you, Your
look
Honor.
like that before she went to jail.
Mr. Nexon, would you please spell both your first and last name for the court reporter?
Yes, sir. So legal first name is Michael, Michael. Last name is Nexon, Nexsen. Middle name is Cortland, hence the name Court.
How do you spell Cortland?
Court.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was Cortland. I beg your pardon.
How do you say Cortland too?
Mr. Nexon, could you tell us your background, please, and specifically your employment and education?
Yes, sir. And if it's helpful, I am loud by nature. If I need to talk louder or quieter, Mr. Truman, please just tell me.
Oh, Lord, who is he?
Judge and jury, I truly appreciate you all letting me do this virtually. Grew up in the state of Virginia, Washington and Lee University in Lexington, Virginia for undergrad. Started my career in New York City in finance. Came back to visit the University of Virginia in Charlottesville, Virginia. Have stayed put there ever since to raise a family. And for 6 years, worked for what was U.S. Trust, became Bank of America's private bank. I currently own and run a farm estate and residential real estate company in Charlottesville, Virginia, called McLean Faulkner Incorporated.
Thank you.
Okay.
Could you tell us your initial involvement with Natalie and Michael Cochran?
first. So my job at the time, it was U.S. Trust, Bank of America's private bank, was I team that dealt with high net worth individuals, from investing money to banking to helping kind of oversee their assets. And so in Charlottesville, I was tasked with new business development and kind of being the face of the team for potential new
Oh,
clients.
frozen.
And so somewhat out of the blue, the Cochrans were routed to my team, which came to my desk to interact and speak with them.
In terms of the division of your time with the Cochrans, did you spend more time involved with Natalie Cochran or Michael?
The bulk of it was with Natalie. The only thing I recall is one time there was a gentleman on the phone, there in the car, who said it was Michael Cochran. The rest was pretty much exclusively with Mrs. Cochran.
Mm.
How did you communicate with the defendant?
So it was interesting. If my memory serves, it was almost like a phone call out of the blue, and kind of listened to the story and kind of how they got routed. And then primary conversations were email driven as well as some phone conversations.
Do you remember your first, or have a recollection of your first phone call conversation with Natalie Cochran?
High level at a macro point, essentially it was someone talking about very large sums of money, talking about business interests, and I get the sense because of the level or the amount of money they're discussing, and even though it was involved with businesses, all tied back to an individual, and that's what U.S. Trust or a private bank deals with, and so not exactly sure how, but it makes sense that if the Cochrans are talking to the business banking world of Bank of America, that entity would have flagged and said, you need to speak with U.S. Trust. And given the West Virginia location, I believe the Charlottesville, Virginia office would have been the closest in proximity, and that's how things kind of got routed to me.
So
All
who
right,
is
sir.
he?
You indicated phone calls, but your primary means of communication was through email. Is that correct?
I would say it started with a phone call, and while there were some calls initially, it would have been very email driven, and I don't want to jump ahead. As things kind of played out, the bulk of it was driven through email.
The defense has reviewed the document with the statement marked as state 4.
Yes, number 4.
All right.
Can I? Sorry,
Yes.
I beg.
Could I please have exhibit 3?
It's it, Bonnie. It's over here.
I'm sorry. Let's see. Yeah.
Her attorney, like, he's doing a great job of like being annoying. Do y'all like when her attorney kind of ad-libs a little bit, throw in his little shade? Be the Godfather. Boom.
All right, you may continue, Mr. Truman.
Thank you. Mr. Nexon, the first email that
See with the
they
truth.
want to discuss is where it was dated February 4th of 2019 at 11:55. And so that we can identify your emails, they all have a ustrust.com email address, correct?
Correct.
And in that email, you're merely providing personal contact information to the defendant, how she can get a hold of you with a direct line, right?
Correct, yes, sir. If it's helpful, Mr. Truman, I have that email in front of me.
Okay. Well, through the miracle of modern Chinese technology, we're able to hook you up
What?
this way with a telephone and through the internet but unfortunately, we can't display the documents at the same time, so we'll just talk about them. But
He
thank
said he
you.
got him in free of us.
Oops. The next email is the following day, and you received an email from the defendant at about 11:11, timed 11:11. You able to look at that email?
Yes, sir.
What's the substance of the defendant's information to you and your response?
I kind of would rather go back to the
So after
physician
the initial
assistant.
phone conversation, our job.
When they take their lunch break, we go back and listen to
Procedures,
the
protocol,
first
information
witness,
gathering. And so in order
the first one of
to
the
do
day.
anything with our team, we have to document certain pieces of information. And so we kind of asked Mrs. Cochran for certain pieces of information that would help us slowly start to effectively build a relationship and establish the accounts. And so that's what we had asked her for after that initial phone call in order to start slowly moving forward.
Your Honor, may we approach on all of this?
Sure.
Her attorney be getting annoyed. Okay, so what was I gonna say? So what they're, to me at this point, and if you're in the chat, it seems like they're trying to, well, they're trying to use the Ponzi scheme as the motive. I think that's what they're trying to say. The motive is, because without that, then they have no motive, and the medical examiner hasn't been on yet, but they don't have a definitive cause of death either, because they exhumed his body. We're gonna find that out. They exhumed his body. They don't really know how he died. They don't know. They don't know. So no smoking gun at this point. But everything they keep asking is about the Ponzi scheme, because they're trying to make like he didn't know. They're trying to say he didn't know. It's hard to me. It's hard to prove that this husband spending all this money with his wife that he didn't know. People be hiding money all the time. Just Lord knows they do. And they try to spend up all your money and do what God knows what theirs. It's tricky with these marriages and with money. But y'all out buying properties. Well, she's buying properties. She's like, hey, Michael, I just bought a $2 million house today. It's like, where the hell you get that money from? Where you get that loan from? She wasn't hiding what she was buying. He was buying stuff too. That's why I kind of want to go back and listen to the opening statements, because it's like you hear all of the stuff that's going on behind the scenes. How did Michael not know? He knew. He was drawing up the contracts for this business. He was, I don't know, soliciting, helping solicit. He was spending money. He was spending money with her. He was spending money. He knew how much money he was making, which from what we get, wasn't making nothing. He had a made-up business, which was the business he had with his wife that she eventually got convicted of the Ponzi scheme for. But they keep talking about this. They keep talking about the Ponzi scheme, about the money, about the finances, and whose name was on this account, who was signing these checks, who the workers report to. In the business with her, it's just because it's his parents, he probably, I can't wait to hear them on the stand, to be honest. They need college. The first lady, her husband, the physician assistant, and her husband, they lost money too in the scheme. So they weren't really trying to hear from Natalie like that. So they just sitting on the couch chilling, putting the man up on the couch, and he don't want to get punched by Michael. We still all the evidence, we still listen to the testimony. I may have already formed a little bit of an opinion because number one, I've been married. I'm a pharmacist. I know how much money we make. And her side gig, he was in the business with her. That was their business. They like, 51.49%. Whatever. He was like, he had, y'all, let me know what y'all think. Hey, what's up, Danny? Oh, man. Hello? This is weird. Am I back on here? Yeah. Yeah. That thing said, it was like my internet has been something. What? Let me see. I need not saying ready for Apple intelligence, time to experience new personal intelligence. Whatever. Ah! Okay. Thank you. Y'all. My whole internet, I got the Ethernet plugged in. That was crazy. Y'all know my neighborhood, somebody will be digging over here, be done dug up a line. I'm supposed to have fiber. You know, I'm like, the bill paid, you be taking that stuff. I got that on auto draft. Some stuff I got on auto draft. Okay, y'all. How weird was that? That was crazy. My whole internet just stopped. It's something going on. Okay, so let me see if I can pull this stuff back up. That's why I know I don't need to be out here. I'm gonna stay out as long as I can though. That's so crazy. Okay, let's see. Thank you, y'all. Thank y'all for sticking with me. Shout out to Ian Gray. Us. Danny say I'm back. Ingress US or Ingress? I'm back. Okay, thank you. Y'all. We need a little excitement, I guess. Golly. Okay, so let me pull the trial back up. I don't even know what I was saying. I low-key just lost it. I was like, what the fuck? Sometimes I just want to scream. What Michael Jackson say? Made me want to scream. Janet, him and Janet. Okay, let's share the screen. You know, when things like that happen, sometimes you just want to kind of quit. Like, let me go back to bed and start again. I'm not a quitter though, okay? So let's all right, they gave us a little time anyway. Are they back? We just be a little bit behind. Nobody do spoiler alerts, okay? Thank you, y'all that's in the chat. Regulators!
Okay.
How
I
was
kind
your
of want to go
account
look out the
initially set
window.
up?
AT&T trucks out there or something.
And I don't want to jump ahead. I mean, high level, when we receive a phone call like we did, which is throwing out really big, our job is, our initial instinct was it's probably what we will take every step. And so first you have to make sure that the human beings are real, that the business entities are real. And so you're going through methodical steps to document various characteristics of the individuals in the business. And so that's kind of, before anything happens, we're basically, you can call it papering or documenting the individual and the family to get everything set up. And as you can imagine, you're dealing with one of the largest banks in the entire country, if not world. Everything is going to be documented and in a good way scrutinized. And so that's kind of these initial steps, which is we are just data gathering to see if this is real or not.
Were there any funds in this account at this point?
So from our side, there was nothing. So essentially it was, we own these government contracting businesses. We're going to have significant funds coming and going from these accounts, which if it was real, U.S. Trust and the private bank would absolutely be the best place to go to do all this. And so at the time, there's nothing in these accounts. We are essentially getting everything set up or getting the piping in place to allow money to come into the account and then be a real source of financial help. But no, nothing, to my knowledge, at least from a U.S. Trust side, there is nothing ever in the account.
By February 5th of 19, approximately 5:36. If you
High level, if this was real, you
Judge,
have
I'm going to object to this answer already at the beginning of this answer as non-responsive. We're talking about the travel of our clients or my client to the state of Virginia or North Carolina or wherever this gentleman was. We're not talking about high-level financial transactions. We're trying the money laundering case here.
Exactly.
not trying the money laundering case, but okay. Let's ask the question this way. Did you have a meeting set up with the Cochrans for February 6th of 2019?
Both of these attorneys sassy.
So my understanding is they implied they were going to go to Lynchburg, Virginia. In order to set up these accounts, you have to physically sign a signature card. You have to have certain people witness this signature card. And I don't remember why they said they were going to Lynchburg. It could have been because of personnel or just certain requirements, but they had implied that they were going to go to Lynchburg. And again, a private banker U.S. trust job is to white glove, handhold service. And it's not uncommon for us to pick people up from the airport, et cetera. So when I'm looking at this email, Mr. Truman, this was trying to make their meetings go as smoothly and as efficiently as possible. And that's what
Judge,
we're doing in these emails.
this is a
Trying to
non-responsive.
make sure they don't
Objection, Your Honor, objection. This is a non-responsive.
Mr. Nixon.
This is a non-responsive answer. We're talking about the whole history of this. The prosecutor asked a very simple question and the witness is rambling.
He's answering the question.
Overruled. Let's continue, please.
Thank you.
So guys, just reframe what you're trying to ask me. You're asking what we're doing, and we're trying to set up appropriate meetings and steps, all the appropriate steps to get certain accounts and relationships set up.
And that was to take place February 6th of 2019, correct?
Correct, that's what we were working towards. It looks like they said they were gonna fly in, and so we were basically responding to their schedule and setting things up as best we could.
Did that meeting take place?
Never took place.
And you were notified about that Wednesday, the 6th at 6:47 a.m. in an email from the defendant, correct?
Correct, and I have it, I'm just in my packet, yes, I had cancer and was up all night, and so again, we responded accordingly, that we are sorry, and we're kind of taking cues, from this prospective client on their.
She said she had cancer.
No one ever went to Lynchburg, no meetings took place.
But there was a reference at 3:37 p.m. on February 6th. You got another email from the defendant. What was the substance of that one?
So this is our court, we'll shoot for Friday. Is that the email?
Yes.
Yeah, so, again, looking to reschedule is how I and our team read it, was they were looking to reschedule. And so we kept trying to be accommodative and helpful.
And once again, that meeting never took place either, did it?
Correct.
I realize you're operating under somewhat of a handicap, but there's an email from the defendant of March 14th of 2019. Could you take a look at that one?
He got all his documents.
I have that in front of me, correct.
And what did the defendant indicate to you was going to happen then?
So rereading this email, they are asking for wiring information for their account. They've said that $100,000 is coming in. Other government funds are coming. And that she's emailing a death certificate and the state paperwork so we can remove Michael. So we've been informed that Michael was in the ICU and then passed. And so in that interim, that's where we are as of March 14th, which is trying to move money around with these accounts.
And the last one was the next day, March 15th. The defendant indicates to you that she can't log into her account. Is that a reference to a U.S. bank account, or am I missing something?
I'm reading her email. She very easily could have had a Bank of America account.
I'm going to object to
Hold
this.
on, Mr. Nixon.
I'm
What is it?
I'm going to object to the answer that has already been proceeded with. She could have easily done something, either.
This is like, who is this guy? I thought he was a lender, or like, who is he? Like, what? I need his job description. I need to know. I don't know what his title is. The guy that's on the stand right now. He seems like he's, a banker, but then it's like, okay, I don't know what he's doing. Because I kind of agree with her attorney with how he answered these questions.
She did something or she didn't. So
All
this
right.
is assuming
I
facts
think-
in the evidence.
I think that's appropriate. Pose the question again, please, Mr. Truman, and I'll instruct the witness to please answer.
Court, this phrase in that email, I can't even log into my account. It was all set up by him. Did you take that as a reference to a U.S. bank or a Bank of America account, or is she talking about something else?
I don't know if she even had an account.
That's all the questions the state has. Thank you.
All right.
Who is he? I don't like it, little smirk either.
Did you ever talk to Michael Cochran about any of these transactions?
There is a gentleman on the phone who would have been implied he was Michael Cochran. That's the only interaction I ever had with him. He was on the phone, supposedly in the car with Natalie, and this was early in the.
He never met Natalie either, though. So how is he saying that this is Natalie? It's implied that it's Michael. Is this after Michael was supposedly deceased? Because if it was before,
This would have been in February.
Okay. How many times did you talk to the prosecuting attorney's office in this case?
Can you repeat that?
How many
Yeah.
times? How many times did you talk to the prosecuting attorney's office in this case? The lawyers in the prosecuting attorney's office.
If I remember, I think one time, maybe twice, and it was more to figure out if I could testify virtually, given kind of my location to the courthouse.
Among many, I would imagine thousands of transactions, you remember Natalie Cochran and you remember Michael Cochran.
I absolutely remember this, just given the nature of it, correct?
All right. Now, was Michael Cochran CC'd on all the communications that you had with Natalie Cochran?
I kind of like his attorney. He be snarky, like a little weird, annoying, but it's like, okay, that's asking the real questions.
I can see Michael had a PSGLC email address.
Now all of a sudden he talking away from the mic. He's naturally a loud person. Now it sounds like an echo in there.
And so he was on the early.
Yes. I'm a talk on here, y'all, because y'all see Law and Crime Link. They got on Court TV too. I'm going to offer my, commentary.
And then I want to say she took over as point person. Yeah, he would have. Now, here, it just kind of depends on. Michael had Natalie, Michael both had TSG LLC US email address.
Was he on there or
Right.
not?
So he could have known about all the aspects of whatever transactions they were supposed to transpire with your bank, right?
Again, she ran point. He was only ever communicative of the very first phone call.
All right.
I think they're trying to set Natalie up. That was the wrong button. I meant to do this. Set Natalie up. They trying to set Natalie up. Nobody wants to admit that if Michael is CC'd on the emails, he had opportunity. Likely that he was going on. Whether she ran point or not, he was still on the team playing. Guy yesterday. They don't want to admit that Michael was part of the business. It's strange. It's strange. They don't like Natalie though. They don't like her.
The sum total of your testimony, Mr. Nixon, is that Michael Cochran and Natalie Cochran and Michael Cochran were supposed to appear in your bank somehow. And they called off the appointment twice, right?
I say there's a little more to it than that, but, you know, if you don't want me to ad-lib.
No.
I don't.
I want you to answer my question. My question is, the sum total of your testimony is that they were supposed to have,
Objection, the subtotal of his testimony is his testimony, period.
your testimony here today in this court is that they scheduled with you, show up and canceled it, right?
I would say that's incorrect. They she ended up cutting checks and false checks that our team knew. And this kind of all crumbled because you're dealing with a very sophisticated financial institution.
Your Honor, I move to strike this answer and instruct the jury.
Oh, I'm gonna answer this thing.
All right. They wrote some checks that, you know, I'm gonna ask you this, sir, one more time, and I want you to answer yes or no. Did they schedule an appointment with you and canceled it?
They canceled multiple appointments, correct?
Did they schedule more than one appointment with you and canceled it?
Yes.
To my knowledge, there would have been 2 different in-person get-togethers, and then it all became email-driven communication.
How many appointments
Did they schedule?
did they schedule with you?
And not,
Please listen. How many appointments did they schedule with you and cancel?
In my recollection, 2. One was they said they were going to go to Lynchburg. She then had cancer.
I didn't ask you that. I just wait a minute. I asked you a very simple question. How many appointments did they schedule and cancel? And you said 2. Is that right?
2.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, and the reason that, did they give you any reasons why they scheduled those appointments and canceled them?
Yes.
And the reason was that Natalie was sick, right?
For the first one, correct.
Okay, for the second one, what was the excuse for the second one?
That Mr. Cochran was in the ICU.
Okay,
he was sick.
and then in March, Mr. Cochran was dead.
Oh, that was harsh. I mean, it was true.
Okay. So now the sum total of your testimony really is that 2 appointments they canceled of the illness of Mr. Cochran or my clients, and then the 3rd appointment, Mr. Cochran was dead. Is that a fair statement, sir?
In terms of appointments, yeah.
Okay, that's all I want. The next question is, you don't have any idea about the circumstances of Mr. Cochran's death, do you? You don't know anything, first-hand knowledge about this.
No.
We, as our time, we saw a death certificate, and that's our extent.
Mr. Nixon, you're a banker.
Ooh!
You are dealing with Mr. Cochran and Mrs. Cochran. You don't have any first-hand knowledge of Michael Cochran's death, do you?
No.
Yeah, I've never met these people in person.
So the answer
No.
would be no.
There's no.
So the answer,
So
the
no.
first-hand knowledge of knowing anything about this case would be no.
Why you can't?
Would
Why
that
you
be a
just say no?
correct statement?
In terms of his death,
Right.
No.
I don't know how it died. I have a pretty damn good guess.
Wait a minute. 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 He got a good deal of how he. What does that have to do with his accounts? That's how we. I'm gonna tell y'all this. At work, first of all, I know I'm in a small town, kind of a small town. It's a city, you know, but I know people everywhere I go. Anyway, got some people that come in there all the time. They making it you good or bad. You were right. Somebody told me yesterday, one technician came to work. She said, Nastasha, did you hear that Miss such and such died? I was like, what? That's me. Cause I know this lady. Everybody know her. They still never confirmed whether or not that was true or not. I didn't see it nowhere. Anyway, we had a couple people pass. It's, to be honest, at the end of the year and the beginning of the year, for some reason, there's a lot of people that pass away. What we do, somebody calls. They say, "Hey, this person has passed." We go on the profile. Excuse me, and we put deceased. We put yes. It's a yes or no, a Y or N, and we put yes. And that's it. Sometimes we hear about how they passed away. I mean, we in the pharmacy. We deal with their drugs. We can kind of figure out, it wouldn't be weird if we knew what happened. This person had a heart condition and they had a heart attack, or what, they had a stroke, or whatever. It wouldn't be uncommon for us, healthcare provider, part of the team, supplying their drugs, talking to their doctors, this and that, family members all the time, whatever. It wouldn't be weird for us to know. This man is the banker of two people he never even met in real life. We're not, we still listening to all the evidence, we're listening to the testimony, but at this point, why is he so involved? He does not want to say, no, I don't know how he died. When people pass away, issue a death certificate, unfortunately, business goes on, everything goes on. That's it. He wants to have a more in this case, but for what? You don't know how he died. You don't know why he died. You don't know what happened. The court is with the fact that they had all this money stuff going on. You should testify in the first case against her to get into the money, details, and to have more of a major, role in it. What do y'all think? Let's go and get back in it. This is so crazy. He don't want to say that he don't know.
I'm going to
Go back a little bit. It was just so weird to me.
What happened? We did internally, and then we kind of conversations. And so in a way, we literally just follow our procedures and guidelines. And that's what we did here when the bad checks were written, is that we stopped communicating and we flagged it to our fraud department.
The bad checks were written in March.
Oh, I won't get too far. Sorry.
Correct, yeah.
That's all the questions the state asked. Thank you.
Hey, how they going?
And no account was ever open with your bank, right?
So again, I'm not in the operations side. I just can't answer confidently, given I have the full scope of everything in Bank of America. She could have opened an account and never funded it. So yes, there were checks written against an account.
This attorney, like, he fed it.
All right, anything further, Mr. Truman?
Nothing for the state, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Victor?
Mercifully, no, Your
May
Honor.
this witness be-
Merciful. It's extra for me.
Sir, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Lunch hour too much. And so if you could be a jury room at 1:30, I'll give you a little extra time because we're behind the eight ball, so to speak, in terms of getting our lunch. So at 1:30, if you'll be back in your jury room, that's when we'll start back up. Please do not discuss at all, not among yourselves and not with anyone else. Enjoy your lunch, and we'll be ready to go again at 1:30.
Okay. Can y'all see me? This finna get on my nerves now. Hopefully y'all can see me. I pay for good high-speed fiber internet buried under the ground. I shouldn't be having to deal with this. Okay. What is this I'm hearing in the background? Oh my God, they didn't mute it. They didn't mute it.
There are any other documents there that have nothing to do with that exhibit?
Oh my God, Law and Crime, they did not mute it. They didn't mute it.
The documents were things that Michael.
Oh, it's course still.
I see, okay, all right, for the banking purposes. Yeah. Okay, then no.
Oh, I thought we was hearing something we weren't supposed to be hearing.
Will be admitted into evidence.
No, I know, it just,
We'll break for lunch.
He mic'd up. They gone. Whew. Am I gone? Okay, so let's go back. Let's go back and listen to some of the stuff I know stuff about, a whole lot about. That's the first witness. This attorney, though, he don't play no games. Her attorney, I need to get his name. Let me see. When he questioned her. Well, the questions are always kind of weird. All these witnesses are really like questionable. Her attorney come out fired up. Y'all like him or not? Put a 1 in the chat if y'all like him. Put a 2 in the chat if y'all think he doing the most. I think I like him. All right, this is a physician assistant. The wife of the police officer that was at the house that day.
Communicated through text at the hospital because
The imminent death of the defendant was, or of the victim, was
it was at the hospital or after.
at the hospital.
At the hospital, I don't remember that. We only communicated through text at the hospital because we weren't able to go and see him at the hospital.
Did your relationship with the defendant go on after Michael died?
Yes.
Tell us about that a little bit.
I mean, just
relevancy.
Oh, go ahead. Ms. Anderson.
we would meet for lunch. We tried to be supportive for her and the kids. Everybody reacts different,
For
most of them.
most of
Yes.
them,
You can buy Humulin over the counter. That they had taken everything. They
I think I have to sustain the judge.
Did the loss of the money from Mrs. Cochran cause you to change your testimony today?
No.
same
I'll
thing.
allow that. I'll allow that.
No, it did not.
Glad you said that because the defense kind of implied from time to time that that could happen. Did you?
Move to strike a comment, Judge?
Oh, we've given both sides some leeway in that. I'll deny the motion.
It's with this trial, it's like the two attorneys, they're speaking freely, like us, like like us out here in the public, how we talk to each other. Does anybody else think that? It's like, yeah, they're implying this. And then it's like, whatever, because this is ridiculous. It's all of that extra tone and emotion. And the judge kind of like, oh, y'all kids, cut it out. Well, last time I let him talk a little bit, so you can talk a little bit. Is this weird? Because it's like, they really are like, I don't like you. I don't like you. Whatever. Well, whatever. It's a lot of that going on. I mean, I like it. I'm entertained.
overall.
Were you aware that the defendant's house was searched?
I was. She actually called me from her mother's phone that same day and told me that they were there and they were taking things.
Did she say anything else about the search?
Later, I went to her house because I felt like there were so many conflicting stories that I wanted her to look at me and tell me what was going on, the truth.
What'd she tell you?
She told me that they had taken everything from the house. I asked her what was going on. She said she didn't know. And she told me that they had taken everything. They had even taken insulin that she had in the refrigerator.
Go ahead, just a moment, please.
Sure.
For the questions of Ms. Hamilton.
Thank you. Cross-examination, Mr. Ritter.
Ms. Hamilton, you have a lot of medical experience, I take it. Can you buy Humalog over the counter?
No,
No?
you can buy Humulin over the counter.
He is
but not
stuck on it.
Humalog.
Okay. Can you buy any kind of medication, insulin, over the counter?
There is one insulin that you can buy over the counter, usually at Walmart.
Okay.
Mm,
So if
that I do
we
know.
turn on the phone and see all kinds of products like that online, would I require a prescription for
Most of them.
most of
Yes.
them? Okay.
You
Just
can buy
couldn't
what
get
you
it
want on the
online.
internet. You can buy whatever you want on the internet. Just, I told y'all now we have the oat pill available over the counter. Okay. I'm saying we. You, everybody can buy it. You don't have to have a prescription. But if you get yourself in a sticky situation and with this Roe v. Wade stuff still pending, you can buy those pills online. I wouldn't trust them. And it's daytime. This is more of a pharmacy after dark kind of conversation. And, we're in the middle of the day. That's why I don't come on here in daytime. Y'all know what I look like in the daytime. This is me still. You can buy those online. People do buy them online. I take stuff off. I don't buy pills. If it ain't prescribed for me, well, I ain't gonna say if it ain't prescribed for me. I mean, you're not supposed to take things that are not prescribed for you. But if it's off the internet, it's from if it's from some country that, it ain't go through the FDA, because, the drugs are manufactured in all these countries. They got sweatshops and all kind of other places. They say we don't have any manufacturing companies here. Not like that. Not even, these automobile factories. I don't know. Anyway, those pills, they are fine. So when he asked the question, it's a trick question. You can buy, they got insulin on sale online. You can get Viagra, get those other pills that I told y'all about. You can get them online. You can buy anything on the internet. You can buy anything on this internet now. It's up to you if you want to try it and trust it. But that kind of was a little bit of a trick question.
Without a prescription.
Right.
Right. Okay. Well, how much did you invest in Natalie and Mr. Cochran's business?
I think the total was somewhere between $15,000 and $17,000.
So
Dang.
you have $15,000 or $17,000 worth of disliking my client.
To her until the very end.
Ah.
No, you're not really happy about losing money to her business, are you?
No, I'm not happy about it, but life goes on.
You wanted your money now.
And somehow between the time when you had this great friendship with my client and now you don't like her anymore, do you? Yes or no, ma'am?
This man cold blooded.
I don't dislike her.
Or you don't dislike
I
her?
always try to find the
No,
good
no,
in
no,
everyone.
ma'am, please, yes or no? You don't like her?
Yeah, what y'all think about this?
I don't like the actions that she did.
All right. All right. Now, let's start with Michael. Is it true, ma'am, that Michael, well, you've known them for years, right? That Michael went to the hospital on at least 3 prior occasions between December of 2017 and November 2018.
I only know of one time. That was November 2018.
Okay. All right. And during that time, do you know that he had a seizure-like activity?
Natalie told me that he had a seizure.
Do you have from any?
I do not know that for a fact. No.
Well, I didn't ask you that. Hold on, listen to my question, please. You don't
She
know.
did answer his question.
Yes, that's right.
I said, do you know from any independent sources?
No.
Okay,
Her.
ma'am, please. Yes or no will suffice.
What do you mean independent?
Do you
sources?
know from any sources such as review of the documents?
No,
from
I
any-
didn't have his medical records.
all right. Is it true, ma'am,
They do not like
from
him.
the medical standpoint, that people who have seizure tend to urinate on themselves?
Yes, if they lose muscle control.
So the fact that Mr. Cochran may have urinated on himself if he had a seizure would not be abnormal.
No.
But, all right. A man of, how much did he weigh approximately? You know,
I don't know. Maybe 180. I don't
Okay.
know.
how tall was he?
Maybe 5'7", 5'8".
No.
It-
How much Humalog would he have to be injected to cause an immediate collapse?
I'm not sure.
Well, let's say a vial. How much of that vial, a standard vial of Humalog, as you probably know as a physician, it's what that is, right?
Sir, everyone's different and
This is
how
very
their
crazy.
body reacts to it. I may take 2 units and bottom out, but you may take 1 and bottom out.
Entire units, right?
No, 2
Oh, shit.
units is what we measure the
little bit.
insulin by,
A little bit.
not millimeters.
Not
it's
me.
units.
That's how they get you. Y'all got to get them units right.
A vial may have 12 milliliters.
No,
How many?
a vial does not. It has 10. It has 10 milliliters. And it's 100 units per ml. Listen, Linda. Listen, y'all. A vial has 10. They got some. They might have 3. But we ordered 10 in the vials. The pens are usually 3 ml. He getting the units and the mLs mixed up. And that's how they get you. And people be not passing on the Naplex. You got to watch the units. Got to get the units right.
How many milliliters would it take for some collapse immediately?
We don't say milliliters. That's
Of
not
that
how
weight?
you.
I don't
That
know.
structure.
It's
All right.
whatever his body can handle.
So
And
you
it's
have no
units.
idea whether he was injected with any type of Humalog at all.
I do not know.
You don't know, ma'am, whether any type of insulin bottle or vial that may have been found in my client's house 4 months after February, that would be June, had anything to do with any type of injection of insulin into the alleged victim.
I do
Right.
not know.
You have no idea. But you know that Michael was sick before, right?
The one time.
That one time. Well, did you know that seizure-like activity, that's a pretty serious condition, isn't it? If he has seizures. Yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
He also had urinary retention. That can be a pretty serious condition
He need to get his prostate.
if he was diagnosed with that.
Okay.
Serious condition?
Okay.
Not really.
No,
It's more
not
of an inconvenience than anything.
Inconvenience? You cannot urinate and get toxic?
You can.
That
Not
can
like
be
a
very
prostate.
serious, man.
Right.
Right. Toxic effects of any type of medication, reaction to medication. Could that be serious?
Yes.
It could be.
Okay. He was diagnosed at first with a brain mass. Now,
Yes.
that could be very serious,
Right.
couldn't it? Then it was changed to encephalopathy. Do I pronounce it correctly?
Yes.
What is that, man?
That's infection or swelling of the brain.
So brain swelling.
This is a test.
That is a pretty serious diagnosis,
Yes.
isn't it? When he went to the hospital in November, he was also confused, right?
Right.
He was belligerent and fighting,
Mm.
right?
Yes. Well, I didn't see that part.
Okay.
I saw him sedated and he was,
Okay. But you knew from him and anybody else for that matter that he hated being in hospitals.
he never told me that.
He never told you that. Okay.
Right.
Well, did you know from my client that Michael?
Yes,
Hated
she
to
said
be
it that day at the house, that that's why she didn't want to take him to the hospital, as he would be mad. And I told her to blame me.
Now,
Is that part. Is he gonna be mad? He's belligerent. He's fighting. Blame me if he, start acting, because we all know that he acts crazy. This is not victim blaming. This is just, getting y'all up to date on. This is not a character assassination of the victim, of the deceased, because we don't know if he was a victim yet. They're still trying to establish that. But he's fighting, he's belligerent. That's not how people act when they go into a diabetic coma, or, that's not what they do. They don't. But I don't know if they talking about this occasion of when he passed away or a previous time. And even this witness right here, she said, Michael, this is me. I'm just trying to take your temperature because I didn't want him to, pretty much wake up and punch me.
I want to ask you one more thing about this Humalog. Humalog, if injected, takes about 15 minutes of delayed reaction, right?
Yes.
And then it reacts insulin reacts
He need the mechanism of
in
action.
the human body, right? After
Right.
about 15 minutes. Subside.
Right.
So if I'm jabbed
Jab.
with the needle and somebody injects a couple of milliliters of
Units.
the Humalog in me, I'm not gonna just not react, right?
What are you
And
asking?
the medication itself will not react in my body yet, right?
Right.
Right.
He talking about
So I will have
immediate
about 15
onset
minutes to call
of
for
action.
help.
Right. That's
I-
if you knew you were injected, right?
Well, if right. would you agree with me that if somebody comes and injects you in a certain part of your body, or maybe somewhere else on your body, that you will know that you got injected, right?
Right.
Once you know you're
Probably because
injected,
they throwing them like darts
you have
anyway.
about 15 minutes or so. Ask the person who injected, heck did you do that for, right?
True.
Or what
And
the heck is
tranquilize.
happening here, right? And maybe get the daylight out of the person who injected you, right?
Right.
And then to call 911 doesn't take that long, and say, hey, I've been injected with something by my dear wife. I need help. Desperately. She won't tell me what it is. So he would have the time to react to that injection, wouldn't he?
Maybe.
Maybe. Right. And yet we have no record whatsoever of this alleged victim calling anybody for any help.
Good point.
Correct?
Okay.
So we have no idea why he collapsed, do we?
No.
Now, I'm going to ask you this. Mr. Cochran was at one time, I'm sure you know, diagnosed with acute encephalopathy,
Okay.
the acute brain swelling. And he was prescribed a medication, and I'll try my best to pronounce it correctly. Lamotrigine. Did I say it right?
What is it?
Lamotrigine?
Okay.
Lamotrigine?
Okay.
Medication, isn't it?
Mhm.
A very serious medication. And if you don't take it for your brain swelling, you may be dead pretty soon.
Right.
Seizures.
Do you know that Mr. Cochran refused to take that medication?
He's not
He
compliant.
did not tell me anything about that.
Huh? So do you know from anybody that he refused to take that medication?
From the defendant, yes.
And it could be like, excuse me, he refused to take the medication or he just didn't take it. Like most of y'all non-compliant out here. He just didn't want to take it. He didn't take it. But, you know, he had to word it using the language that he's using, you know, to his client. So I get it.
No. Did you also know that he was prescribed a medication called Keppra?
Mhm.
What is Keppra?
Or medication.
Anticonvulsive medication.
Yes.
Treats epilepsy, treats seizures,
It's the same.
can also treat hemorrhaging, right? Subdural hemorrhaging,
Sometimes, yes.
sometimes. Did you know that he refused to take that medication?
I did not.
He's just non-compliant. He ain't just not taking his medicine anyway.
The way you knew Mr. Cochran always appeared a model of health to you,
Yes.
didn't he? He was a man's man,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Very fit, healthy.
Very fit, healthy, pumped iron,
Punk.
right?
Yes.
Wanted to be Arnold Schwarzenegger, wanted to be, Mr. Universe.
I don't know about that.
Why is it
I
so
think he
funny to
liked
me?
because he coached a lot of sports.
Did he ever express the desire to participate in any bodybuilding competitions?
No, sir.
No. Okay. For that, he was using a certain amount of steroids, wasn't he?
I did not know that.
You didn't know that he was using supplements?
Not from him.
It's just the defendant?
The defendant told me the day at the house when he got sick that he had been taking some kind of supplements from Mexico that she had found.
Okay.
Later, she sent me a link to those supplements.
And did you look at those supplements?
Yes, the link that she sent me, they were not from Mexico.
All right. Those supplements, quote unquote, some of them were not for human consumption, were they?
What?
I only knew of one.
Which was what?
I don't remember the name of it, but she sent me a link.
Okay. And actually, did you know that Mr. Cochran used all kinds of links on his computer to purchase substances that may have been less than medically approved by our American standards?
No, I did not.
Okay. Whether he was getting any shipments of any medication.
Only what she had said that day.
Okay. Now, you were so well acquainted with the family that you ever, I'm sure you talked to the children about.
No.
No,
I did
you
not.
never talked to the children
We
about
talked
this?
to the children.
No.
About, oh, okay. Okay. Let me also ask this. When Michael went to the hospital in late October, did you know that he only stayed there one day in the hospital?
No.
Well, did you know that he had a similar, if not identical, episode of a seizure? He had an acute respiratory failure. Did you know that?
He was in the hospital in November. That was when we had went down there that night. But
didn't
I
ask-
never knew the exact.
I didn't ask you that. I asked you whether you knew that he stayed in the hospital prior to that in October, at the end of October,
No.
with the same symptoms that he had in November.
No, I only knew about the November
Okay.
one.
Well, what do you know about his mold exposure?
Dang.
She told me later that they thought it was mold. That was like a month later. She told me they thought it was mold from a house that he was remodeling.
Did you have any mold in your house?
Do I?
Did you at that time?
No.
You said that it was from the mold in your house?
No, a
I'm
house
sorry, I
he was
couldn't-
remodeling.
Okay, from the remodeling. Okay. Now, he also had a convulsive status epilepticus. That was one of the diagnoses, and maybe you will tell the jury what that is.
That's the seizures.
Convulsive status epilepticus.
He had a seizure.
That he had seizure disorders with convulsions.
Epilepsy,
Epilepsy.
acute respiratory failure, something that I'm seem to having right now. Anyway, what is acute respiratory failure?
It's when your lungs quit pumping out the capacity to breathe.
Okay.
So you go into stress.
She rolled her eyes.
Also had altered altered mental status. Was he in distress?
You never know. I wonder.
At the time when he
I wonder if she rolled her eyes at her attorney for sounding a little crazy right now, or like roll her eyes at a physician assistant, like, oh, you know, whatever. This is I don't know. I guess people enjoying this trial. I don't know, but I'm enjoying it.
went to the hospital in November.
I did not see him in distress.
Well, did you see him a couple of days before February the 6th?
I think it was about a week before that I saw him.
Did he appear under any stress to you?
No.
He was just his usual,
Yes.
healthy, wonderful
Yes.
self.
Yes.
And yet he had all these conditions that were diagnosed at the time of his demise, didn't he? Do you know?
I do not know that. I only knew about the seizure that she said that day, that he had seizure disorder.
Okay. And what's hypoxia?
It's when your oxygen's low.
Okay. What's hypercapria?
Hyper what?
I think it's hypercapnia.
Oh my God.
Or maybe I'm mispronouncing it.
Hypercapnia.
Uh-huh.
It's when you kind of go into a metabolic state because your respiratory system's low.
And would it surprise you that was what was the final diagnosis
Because his breathing was down?
of his at the hospital? Would it surprise you?
No, because his respirations were down.
Now,
Him and his attorney look like they did a little study group after work yesterday. After opening statement, was like, okay, we're gonna get him with this.
when you
Who was that?
now the when you tested Michael, when you went there, approximately 1:30, something like that,
About 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
Yes.
His pulse was normal. His saturation was normal. His blood pressure was slightly elevated, 168/103, slightly elevated.
Sir, I did not check those. Those were what she had checked. I did not do any vitals except for temperature.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Will the swelling cause any sugar reaction in your body?
So usually sugar, when your sugar drops, or you have an influx, too much insulin that the body secretes out, or you given, your brain will swell from that.
And of course, that's a mutual reaction. The brain swells and the sugar drops.
If you go in a coma.
So he has an ongoing condition of a brain swelling, and you're surprised that his sugar went down?
Yes.
I see. All right. Okay. If I may have a second.
He got to get a lesson.
Did you see any other individuals in the house of Natalie Cochran when Michael was already on the couch?
No, just Natalie and my husband were there.
Natalie and your husband, a police officer.
Yes.
What is his rank? Sergeant? Lieutenant?
Corporal.
Corporal, I'm sorry.
Get it right.
And you were aware of the fact that there were two employees of TSG who moved Michael from the floor to the couch, right?
Yes, I did ask who moved him, and that's what they told me, but they were not there. when
No,
I
they
was
were
there.
not there. They're already left, right? And that at some Mr. Davis showed up, right?
Not while I was there.
And not you were there. From medical knowledge, if Natalie Cochran left Michael unattended like this, in this condition on the floor, would he have expired?
Most likely, yes.
Most likely, yes. And yet this cold-blooded killer
Oh, Lord.
had all kinds of people in the house to monitor his condition. Is that right?
To monitor it,
Well, to do something.
I did not monitor his condition.
All right.
That's a good point. That's a good point. How do I, that's a good point. Because if she wouldn't have called the man over there, well, she first of all, she should have called 911. He needed to go to the emergency room. You need to call 911 anyway. Somebody having a seizure, they always has seizures, whatever the case may be. You need to go and call 911. Anyway, she had these workers there, and the other man pick him up, excuse me, put him on the couch. They could have let him if she was really like trying to kill him, she could have just left him on the floor and then act like she was gone and then come back. I don't know. I never committed no kind of murder like this. I don't really know. It's the wrong button. I'm at the president. I never done that before. But she got some other people that were there and they left. You got this lady's husband, and you got this lady right here. All of these people are at the house. I don't know if I think that she tried to kill him. I don't know. I don't know if I think that. I don't know.
Came, looked at him, told her what to do, and I left. I was there 28 minutes, sir.
But I want to ask you this, ma'am. Whether the presence of any other people in that house negates the possibility that she would just leave him there alone to die. And nobody would know. Is that possible?
That's a question I don't think this witness can
No.
answer.
I think.
I don't know who exactly was at the house. Only
You know-
who I saw.
Yeah. She mad. Is that the jury box back there? Or maybe who is that back there? They already said the people's name on this trial, so I wouldn't be surprised if they showed the jury too. This is crazy.
You testified on direct that Michael reacted to your suggestion to take his temperature, right?
He turned his head.
Turn his head.
So he was
So
conscious.
he was still reacting.
Yes.
All right. Now,
She said, "Don't punch."
did you say something to the effect that there were some words like "don't punch me"?
Yes.
Who said that?
I said that because if he's asleep and he wakes up and I'm just standing over top of him and he startles,
Okay.
could be his first reaction.
She shouldn't have said that. She should have said, before rendering aid to anybody, even if you're giving them CPR, even if whatever you're trying to save, whatever you're trying to do with them, you need to, even if they're conscious or not, you still need to say, "Hey, it's Nastasha, I'm trying to help." Or you need to be like, "Is it okay if I help you?" Even if they can't respond. That's what she should have said. The fact that she said she the puncher, it makes me feel like this shit ain't seen Michael act up a couple times before. But you just always warn somebody before you finna touch them. If you could get permission, then you want to get permission. That's the right answer. They don't need me to testify though, because I'll be like, "I don't know." No, I wouldn't say I don't know. I'll be like, "Well," and if I'll be like, "He's sick, girl. You don't call me over here. You need to call 911. I kind of don't even want to be. I wouldn't have been there though. I would have been like, "What's going on, Michael? You a pharmacist just like me." That's what I would have told her. But I'm like, "He on the couch? Do you have a thermometer?" I'd be like, "You trying to check his temperature? Is he conscious?" It's so many things I would have answered over the phone. And if my husband got to go take his crazy stuff over there, but that's why I'm saying it didn't seem like. I wonder if jurors think like this. I don't know. I've never been on a jury, but I would have been thinking, just like Rich Homie Quan, the way they just like, "Hey, just put him on the couch." People don't know what to do when it's an emergency. People don't know how to react to anything that's going on, But you just come pick him up, put him on the couch, and feel like this is the first time. We still listening.
Okay.
It would be anybody.
So the
Still
sum
wearing a
total of
ring
your
on a ring
testimony then
finger.
is that you have no idea what kind of substances were in Michael's body on February the 6th, right?
I
Nope.
do not know what was in his body on February 6th.
Well, did you find any syringe in? Or
No,
did you see any syringe in?
I did not see anything.
Okay.
I only stayed right there in that chair.
Okay. And you don't know what kind of medication Michael was on prior to,
I do not.
and you don't know what medication he refused to take or didn't take.
The only thing she said was that he refused to take his seizure medicine they had given him.
Yes.
Thing, if Michael was taking steroids, certain kind of steroids can raise your blood sugar too. Blood glucose. And he was on seizure medications, and he was. I don't know. I don't know. The more I hear about this, the more I'm like, reasonable doubt. Can they do that? They don't pass notes in this court. They like just straight up whispering. They're like these old men. Oh, I can't speak past this. Are they still talking to each other?
But I'll preserve your exception.
Prosecutors may.
Go ahead.
A few minutes, like 15 minutes, to call 911. There's an underlying assumption, isn't there? The victim was awake.
Was there a glucose meter in the Cochran's residence?
I did not see one.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
I think that's all I have. Thank you.
All right. Redirect Mr. Truman.
Thank you.
Ask you if it would be reasonable that
Someone injected would have a few minutes, like 15 minutes, to call 911. There's an underlying assumption, isn't there, that the victim was awake.
I'm going to object to the
Prosecutors. Prosecutors may.
Go ahead. You may answer, please.
That Mr. Cochran was awake when he was injected. Wouldn't that be part of what the defense was asking you?
That's what I'm gathering.
Can they do this?
So
Like,
that if
does this? I mean, does this seem like some out of order stuff? The way they keep speaking, it's like there is not time. For, did he? Oh, but I guess he said he had no further questions. Because I'm like, how is he just ask? They just kind of talk when they get ready in this court. I paying attention, but I'm not. Y'all know. I mean, I am. But are they just speaking out of turn? And is that okay?
Michael Cochran had been sedated or was not awake, he wouldn't necessarily follow the defense theory that he'd have 15 minutes to call 911.
He wasn't going to call anyway. Michael didn't like
Judge,
the
that calls for utter speculation.
Well, I'm going to have to overrule the objection, but I'll preserve your exception.
Also, the defense asked you about circumstances where a blood sugar level of 21 would cause brain swelling. And you agree, correct?
Yes.
Does it work that way in reverse? Would a swollen brain cause blood sugar to drop to 21?
I would have to really research that, but I can't imagine why. It would be the opposite.
I'm going to object to that answer. Move to strike it. The witness doesn't know.
In fairness to the defendant, you don't know.
I don't know.
You also responded to a question concerning like dislike of the defendant, and you stated that you didn't. What did you mean by that?
Well, what she had done was, with the money.
Now, that is,
Lying.
I'm objection, that's comment on the defendant's character.
Lying?
I'm going to overrule the objection. You may continue.
When you said lying, you felt that the defendant was being less than truthful with you. Was that just on one occasion?
Just several conflicting stories.
Get out this thing. I'm tired.
Okay, just a moment.
Yes.
You responded that you told the defendant to blame you. And what was that in reference to?
When I kept telling her he needed to go to the hospital, she said that he would be mad if he come to and was at the hospital. And he would be very upset because he didn't want to be at the hospital. So I told her to tell him that I had been there, and I said he had to go. Blame me. I didn't care if he talked to me again or not.
Why did you what? Why did you reach that?
Because I wanted him checked.
How important was that to you that he be checked?
It was important to me.
Did you do that?
No,
Or at least not until
she refused.
6 o'clock or 7 o'clock that night. That's all the questions the state has. Thank you.
Because
Conflicting stories, man.
What do
You
you
have-
say?
You have a story that you go to the Cochran's home. Michael, who apparently dropped on the floor, now on a couch.
Mhm.
There's
Your
if
husband?
there's nobody there. How you suspect that she just dragged him on the couch? Who took him to the couch?
I told you I knew that the
Who took him to the guy?
contractors had put him on the couch.
Now, do you have any evidence that Michael was injected to
I do not.
do not was injected with anything while he was asleep
I do not.
at 11:30 during the day? You don't have any evidence of that,
No.
do you? Now, let's be perfectly clear right now. You are there in her house with a law enforcement officer, your husband,
Hmm.
with a man who is just about to die, according to you, or at least you want to check him out. You have a
It's
law
the
enforcement
tone.
officer who can enforce taking her to the hospital, can't he? He's a state trooper
No.
who sees a
no
person
one
to
can.
die.
No one can make someone go to the hospital.
Was he unconscious?
You cannot make a person go.
Okay. He is injected and he is in this state of coma. And you are so concerned about the health of that person as a paramedic, or I'm sorry, as a physician assistant. Why don't you go step outside and call 911 yourself?
Because she refused. I can't make her do that.
Well,
You did not call 911. Your husband didn't call 911. You were convinced that from the medical standpoint, this man was right.
I said he needed to be checked. He needed to go to the hospital, further testing. I didn't know what was going on with him.
Are you a mandatory reporter?
A medical reporter?
Mandatory reporter that you have to report abuse or medical emergency potential crime involving
And I like that, yes, and I have a chart and I know what's going on with them, yes.
well, you suspected, you knew what was going on with him. And yet, as a who would you have to call as a mandatory reporter? The
It
hospital?
depends.
The police?
It depends on what it is, CPS.
Well, CPS. Well, you had the police right there, your husband. You could have called the CPS, you could have called an ambulance as a
That's
mandatory
child
reporter.
fatigue.
Say,
That's
this
what
man is
you.
dying. Take him to the
I mean, but I
hospital.
see
Have
where
him
he
checked out
going
by
with
a
that.
doctor. You didn't do any of that.
I told her to take him, sir. She was his voice. I can't make her go.
She wasn't acting as his
From the
healthcare
mandatory
provider.
reporter standpoint, if that person is, or even purely medical, if that person is unconscious, isn't that a mandatory or some kind of mandatory requirement that this person be taken to the hospital?
So he was sleeping when I was
Oh,
there.
he was sleeping.
And she said he had had seizures. People go to sleep after they have seizures.
It's his tone. It like what he's saying. It is kind of like it could go either way. She's not acting as a healthcare professional. She just came there as a person with a thermometer, you know. She wasn't his provider, you know. But it's his tone, like, why you didn't report it? Why didn't you call 911? To a lay person, to me. I'm just like, well, feel that strongly about it, but she didn't feel that strongly about it. She kind of didn't want to have anything to do with him because she had stolen money anyway. So she was just like, don't call me. So it seemed like this lady is a nice lady. She went over there. Because if I'm not dealing with you, you stole $15,000, $17,000, $20,000 of my money. As soon as she called, hey, Nastasha, Michael is looking like this. First of all, I'm gonna be mad at my husband because he went over there. Don't go over there. They stole our money. Don't go over there. We ain't talking to them. Me and you, we together. Don't talk to them. They stole our money. Now, she got the nerve to call me. Hey, Nastasha, how's it going? You know, your husband's here. We've gotten him on the couch. We've gotten him stabilized. He has seizures. You know, he has seizures. You didn't know he has seizures, but I'm telling you now, he has seizures. And now he's laid out on the couch. He's sleeping. Could you come by? Do y'all have a thermometer? That was just some kind of silly reason to get that woman over there. Oh my God, this lady might be a genius. The wife that maybe she did do a murder. Who even knows? To get them over there. But she called me. I'm like, we know the same thing. I'm not coming over there. You know, we not cool right now. I don't know if we'll ever be cool. I don't know if we'll ever be the same. But you need to call 911. Y'all need to take them on to the doctor's office, whatever y'all gonna do. Tell whoever my husband is, I need him to come do something at home. Or put him on the phone. What the hell you doing over there? Get him over there. What is he? What's going on with him? Is he what? She need to call a doctor. It ain't nothing you could do. That would be me. But this lady, she seemed nice because I wouldn't have been dealing with her. After she stole $15,000 of my money and everybody else's money around me, I'd be like, I can't. Don't even try me. Don't. She wouldn't pick mine. She wouldn't dial my number.
And that's what he looked like. He was in the post-ictal phase.
All of this, man, has, as far as you know, nothing to do with any injection of an insulin.
I do not know that.
She does not know. She don't know.
Anything further, Mr. Truman?
Not for the state, Your Honor, thank you.
May this witness be excused.
So far as the state's concerned, yes, sir.
Subject to recall, Your Honor.
All right.
He ain't gonna let her go.
Subject to recall, that means that you cannot stay in the courtroom, nor can you watch anything about this case on TV or.
I don't know how they do it because I'd be like,
This means that you may be recalled.
how can you not watch it? I've been trying to watch myself back. I don't know. I only been called for jury duty once, and I didn't like they canceled it, whatever it was. So I didn't get a chance to go in there. All right, y'all. They on lunch right now anyway. So
15 minutes.
wait. So I'm am I on here? Because this computer be acting crazy anyway. All right. Okay, so what time is it here? It is 12:23 Central Standard Time. So what I'm gonna do right now, they're on lunch, and I was trying to see how this gonna go. I may or may not come back, but I gotta go. I got stuff I need to do today. I can't. Yeah, today I'm busy. I wouldn't have been busy. I was hoping I was gonna be getting that 4-hour iron infusion. Y'all stay tuned for the iron infusion. Y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all gonna know when I get it. Y'all gonna be like, what's different? Y'all gonna be like, oh, she lit up. She got energy. She just looks different. She sounds different, because y'all need to learn the mechanism of action of iron, like what iron does. You need that iron in the blood for everything. How you have iron, and then you have like your iron stores, so once like your circulating iron get depleted, then they got some they can pull some out of. I don't have nothing in there either. I'm just empty. I'm lucky I'm even just I'm just waiting on them to call me any day now. They try to call me back from that infusion place. I'm like, cancel it. I'll call y'all back when I'm gonna reschedule it. I ain't gonna reschedule it. So y'all stay tuned for that. But we're gonna keep watching. I might just come on like sometimes in the evening if I can, because y'all know daytime I still work. I'm working for the man still. Right now, I'm not totally convinced that Natalie has that she murdered her husband. But if she did do something, right now it look like she do nothing. And whenever the medical examiner get ready to come on, then I'm for sure gonna come on and I'm gonna stream that day. Because we need to know if there were puncture wounds, but tricky part about that is he was taking steroids too. So you could be like, he got this random puncture, that looks like it's from a needle in whatever part of his body. Most of the time, those steroids, they in the muscle. So the needle gonna be longer. But I don't know what a needle stick looks like post-mortem. I don't know. And they exhumed his body, but he been dead a couple years at this point now. I think this happened in 2019. I don't know for sure. I don't know. So when I come back, I do a little bit more. I have a little more research. I know a little bit more about it. But and Insulin is a specialist, ambulatory care clinic. She works there. She knows it's a shorter needle, just go like just under the skin. But the steroids and all the other stuff, it got to go in the muscle. So the needle is longer. But like I said, I don't, I'm not a medical examiner. I'm not a pathologist. I just know generic information about this. I know disease organs and organisms, and I know healthy. I don't know dead, deceased. Maybe deceased sounds, it don't hit as hard as like dead, So I say, I don't know what it looks like when it's deceased post-mortem. So that's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do, because sometimes I'm gonna wait till they show some good parts and then I'm gonna come back. But this is just something I was trying today. I was at home. I was like, might as well. Had a lot of issues, but it was all right. It's not too bad. But other than that, y'all not in the chat, or maybe y'all in the real chat of Law and Crime and Court TV, shout out to them and thank y'all for, allowing us to use the content, to, repurpose I ain't just playing your stuff. Okay. I'm adding, my own take on it. Other than that, y'all, It's been real. I keep saying, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know what I'm gonna do. When I figure out what I'm gonna do, I'll give y'all more information. But for right now, it looks like I'm gonna be waiting on the medical examiner, or if we get another witness that's not a banker, that's not talking about the Ponzi scheme or the finances, and we'll review their testimony. Or if this lawyer just get off the chain, I'm gonna still be watching the trial. Y'all keep up with it too, so y'all can join the conversation whenever I come back. Other than that, y'all, what do I always say? Oh, I forgot. It's daytime too. It's still all LOVEOU. I love you. From me to y'all. And what else? Like, comment, subscribe, share. Let's get it out there. Let's get the word out there. Y'all do whatever y'all gonna do. I don't care. Anything you want to do. Other than that, these prescriptions, what do? They keep piling up. These phones, they never stop ringing. My daughter, her dance teacher always say good morning. She say good morning all day long. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say good night all day long. So good night, y'all. I'll catch y'all in the next one.